What's up everyone, Emerald here from Emerald's Daily Carry, and welcome to the 5 days of Christmas. These are holiday gift guides for every price point and possibly every person in your life, starting out with your frequent traveler. This is meant as an inspiration guide to get those creative juices flowing before the Black Friday holiday rush. This curated list goes through some of those pain points that most travelers face, so let's get into it. Our first category are toiletry bottles because they're reusable, and it also saves you money in the long run because then you don't have to buy a bunch of travel-sized items for shampoos and conditioners, which are more expensive than if you bought in bulk at Costco, for example. So we have two different styles of toiletry bottles to show you today. The first toiletry bottles that we want to talk about are from Gravel. What's really awesome about these is that they actually connect together and form a perfect square, so there's not a lot of wasted space that you're going to be using inside of your toiletry kit. The other great thing about these is that they have a rotatable cap, so you know exactly what is in which bottle. They have a really wide opening, so they're also really easy to clean. The second toiletry bottle that we want to talk about is from Matador. These are the flat pack toiletry bottles, so a little bit of a different approach to the same problem. Instead of having a structured bottle like the Gravel one, this is completely flat. One thing to mention about these is that they're going to be a little bit harder to clean just because the cap is a little bit smaller than the Gravel bottle. Our next category are toiletry bags, which is definitely something that you're going to need if you are a frequent traveler. We have a bunch of different types of toiletry bags to go over with you. The first one being we have a cap 0.5. We've already made like a whole dedicated video about this pouch and how awesome it is. This is the X-Pack version, which is what we use when we go traveling because it's a little bit more waterproof. It has two zipper pockets on the side and then a large main compartment volume where you can fit bigger things. And then I have two toiletry kits from Gravel. If you haven't already checked it out, we have some content about their travel kits from the TGA show that we did earlier this year. This is the small and the large, but they also have a medium and extra large toiletry kit that have a couple of different pockets to look at. This small toiletry kit is about 1 liter in size. It's gonna have two separated pockets, one for your toothbrush and like your toothpaste and things like that. And here in the back, you have an empty space to put some larger toiletry items. This is a pretty large deodorant stick and definitely something that's not gonna fit inside of the half cap. So if you have some bigger items like this, the Gravel 1 liter pouch might be something to look into. And like we said before, this is the large toiletry kit from Gravel. There's a couple of additional features here. Kind of the main star of the show is this display layout. So you have all of these different segmented pockets for your different toiletry items. This pocket in particular also has an additional zippered pocket inside, and that's where I kept my toenail clippers and my tweezers. You have a separated pocket for your toothbrush. And then on this side, I have a couple of larger items like a deodorant stick or a contact lens solution. This larger toiletry kit also comes with a TSA approved bag, and it also fits 4 of the Gravel toiletry bottles that we've already talked about perfectly. So the use case for this would be that you'd have this toiletry kit next to the sink, and it has your toothbrush, your toothpaste, things like that. Everything that you would take into the shower, like this bag, you would take it out of the toiletry kit and then hang this separately on the nozzle of the shower head or something like that. Gravel is doing a Black Friday sale this year. Everything is going to be discounted on their site, but you can actually double dip with our coupon code and they stack. So definitely the perfect time to be getting these toiletry kits for you and all your family members for Christmas. Personally, for me, I'm probably gonna go with the small 1 liter toiletry bag because my kit's pretty minimal. But if you wanna have a little bit more segmentation, you're gonna look at the medium, the large, or the extra large toiletry kit in their lineup. The last toiletry bag I want to talk about is the Matador flat pack zippered case that I have here. We've also discussed this on the channel in previous videos, but this is going to be a little bit of a different take on a toiletry bag. It's kind of just one big open container, so you can fit quite a bit of stuff in here because there is no segmentation. There's going to be a lot of jumbling around in here, so if you want to go and get something very specifically, you might not have a great time with that because you're going to have to take everything out in order to get to your item. But if you're looking for something lightweight with no fuss, the flat pack is definitely a really good option to look at. The next category that we want to look at is specifically with airline travel and how to stay comfortable when you're on a 16-hour international flight. The number one thing that we're going to recommend is possibly getting a neck pillow for those longer flights. This is the Cabeau Evolution X neck pillow. We were actually able to get first looks on this and our TGA coverage earlier this year. But the really awesome thing about this neck pillow, which is kind of revolutionary, is that it actually keeps your neck fully upright. It's a lot of weight to be supporting your head on your neck. So this allows you to have less than a 10-degree tilt in any direction when you wear it. There's also some air valves here on your neck so you don't get hot while you wear it on the plane. This is also fully adjustable, so depending on the girth of your neck, you can unzip this and readjust the actual circumference of this neck pillow to fit you, which is really awesome. There's a couple of accessories that you also might want to look into. The first one is a carrying case. So this is a little bit bulky and maybe hard to manage. Once you put it into a case, it comes with a little strap that you can hook it onto a bag or your suitcase or something like that. The next option here is having this be inside of an entire sling bag. This one's actually pretty affordable. It's less than $30. It can fit any of the Cabeau neck pillows, but there's a couple of other features here for your flight entertainment purposes. You have a slip pocket here in the back, a quick access pocket here in the front, that also has a pass-through hole, so you can put like a power bank or something like that, run it through this hole, and then have your device be hands-free. And then we have a Velcro slip pocket here in the front, so you could probably put your phone in here, maybe your passport and your power bank in this pocket. And then this is your unobstructed volume, which is where you're gonna have your neck pillow sit. And that's what it looks like inside. It also has a clip here, so you could clip this to the airplane seat in front of you. You can also clip the pillow to this and then use the main compartment volume just for your actual tech accessories that you wanna bring with you on the plane. This is a right shoulder carry only sling bag, so just keep that in mind. But I think for the price, you're getting a lot of features. This is specifically made for the neck pillow, but once you get to your destination, you don't need that neck pillow anymore, and then this just becomes kind of like a day bag. You can put like probably a packable jacket in here, maybe a snack. You could definitely fit a water bottle in here. And I think for $30, you're not gonna be disappointed with this bag. Cabeau also sells their own eye masks. I've had a couple of issues in the past with other eye masks not being able to completely block the light from where my nose is. This is a Velcro style attachment system instead of a cinch strap elastic kind of thing. And there's also room on the side for some earplugs. But the other thing that's gonna make you look like a baller is this gravel layover blanket. Inside of the blanket, we have a place to put your hands so they don't get cold on the plane. You also have a zippered pocket here, maybe for some snacks, but you can also put your phone. It's fleece lined, which is really nice. The other thing about this pocket that's super cool is that you can actually turn this whole blanket inside out and then use this as a lumbar support or a pillow on the plane. There's also 2 feet holes here at the bottom so your feet don't get cold on the plane. And then here at the top, we also have a button clasp system. So if you can imagine this while you're on the plane, you're totally enveloped by a blanket, you can't hear anything, you can't see anything, and your neck is being supported by your awesome breathable neck pillow. That, my friends, is traveling in luxury. The next thing I want to talk about is the 12 South Airfly. So this is basically just a Bluetooth adapter that goes into a 3.5mm headphone jack. But basically it makes whatever this is plugged into a Bluetooth adapter. So that way you can actually connect your Bluetooth devices like your headphones to the in-flight entertainment system and be able to listen to the music or the movie that you want to watch with the headphones that you want, which is really nice. This is actually the Pro model, so you can connect 2 Bluetooth devices to this at the same time. So if you and your significant other want to listen to the same movie, you can do that. One thing to keep in mind, and something I hope that they change in the future, there's a key leash attachment for this device, but it is connected to the cap of the actual dongle. But this is the actual part of this that we care about, right? Like, we don't really care that much if we lose the cap. I care if I lose this. This thing also comes with a fleece pocket, and I try to keep it inside of here at all times when I'm not using it because it's very easy to lose. This next item is the Bellroy Laneway crossbody bag. I'm putting it in the airline category, but really this is an awesome thing that you can use in your day-to-day life. But when you're traveling, it becomes a really awesome 1.5 bag travel companion. If you're doing 1 bag travel, which means you're not gonna check in any bags, you're just doing carry-on only, this is an awesome personal item that you can carry in the front of you while you have your bag on your back. And then when you're on the plane, you have your phone, your wallet, your keys, your passport, maybe a Switch, maybe a Kindle, things like that inside of this bag. And then once you get to your destination, this becomes your everyday carry bag while you're, strolling around town. You need an umbrella, you need a water bottle, you can carry all of it inside of your sling bag. It's pretty minimal. You have a small key leash here, you have a side pocket, a back zippered pocket, and then you have a conceal pocket as well on the back side. But one thing about this bag that's really awesome are the aesthetics. I think this style of bag can also be elevated into a more dressy thing, or it can be very casual and you can play it down. So that's the Bellroy Laneway crossbody bag. All right, you know that I can't talk about travel accessories without talking about my towel. Shout out to my towel. My towel is the MVP. If you are not bringing your own towel with you when you go traveling, you are missing the boat. So you can buy something that's a little bit bigger than this. You can buy something a little bit smaller. I've had this one for years. It's just a microfiber cloth. But really the great thing about a towel is that it's very multifunctional. It dries things, but you can dry your face, you can dry your hands, you can use it at the beach, you can use it as like an actual towel when you get out of the shower. In accommodations with multiple people and you need to know which towel is your towel, well, look at that, you brought your own towel. So I can't stress enough how much this $30 thing is really gonna like benefit you and save you in so many ways when you travel. So kind of in a similar vein where people are like not super jazzed about getting underwear and socks, I would say someone would probably not be super jazzed about getting a towel for Christmas, but man, the towel is the true MVP. I'm also not opposed to getting socks and underwear for Christmas as well, and I would put a towel in that category. We need to get more people on the towel game. MVP towel. And a lot of times also when you're traveling, you also need to bring a bunch of small things, especially if you're trying to do work when you travel. Tech kits and organizers are gonna be your best friend. And there are a lot of tech kits and organizers out there. Number one that I wanted to show you is this one by Side by Side. The only thing that I don't like about this is that they have metal zipper heads and they make so much noise. I just don't like loud zippers. But I think that if specifically you travel with a PC laptop and you have one of those humongous bricks that take up so much space and you're like, oh my gosh, you don't even know where to put this, this can actually handle that. It has these two stretchy like pockets here on each of the sides, and it can basically stretch out to whatever dimension you need it to have. So on this side, I have a couple of my cables, more cables here, just trying to show you guys like the layout. Like you can basically fill every single one of these pockets with cables, and because it'll all just stretch out and, you know, come out here on this side, it'll just keep expanding outwards like this, and you're gonna be fine because it's kind of like a neoprene type of texture to it. And then on this side, you have a half zip, but like look at what I have inside of this compartment. I have 2 GAN chargers and a little baby extension cord, and like look at how big and thick these things are. I could even double this up like just to show you, you know, how thick of things you can put inside of this side by side. So there are 2 GAN chargers in here back to back. So look at how deep that is. That's what she said. Like, it doesn't look awesome, but if we're talking about just pure functionality and being able to carry really bulky things like a mouse, like a true actual mouse, your actual PC power brick, and having a little handle here so you can just whip it and rip it and just have all of it in one place. This is a really awesome, affordable option. I think this is only $40. So they come in a bunch of different colors. The only thing I don't like about it, again, are these zippers, but I think I can live with that for the amount of functionality that this gives you. So shout out to the Side by Side. I have an Airline tech kit here built out in the Cap 2, just to show you what you can fit inside of this thing. I have these huge over-ear headphones that are fitting in here. I have an emulator. I have a 10 milliamp hour battery. I've got a couple of cords here on the top flat pocket. There's even extra room here in the front if you wanted to put like lens wipes or something like that inside of here. We already talked about how you can use this as a desk caddy, but you can also bring it on the plane with you and have it be your little co-pilot while you're flying. And then here's the Cap 1 with more of like an electronic tech kit organizer type of layout. I have a bunch of cables on this side with a power bank and a dongle adapter. And then here I have a GAN charger and my SSD. But kind of, you know, that doctor bag opening that I think a lot of people enjoy. And, you know, it's got magnets in it, so you gotta love it. A couple of different handles here so you can hold it. Cap 1 from Evergoods. And this is the Air Split Kit. I actually use this to carry all of my DJI Osmo stuff. So I carry my DJI Osmo, the DJI Osmo mic kit with the receiver inside of here, and then all of the other accessories that kind of go with it. There's also a front stash pocket that I keep a bunch of cords and cables, like a 3.5mm headphone jack thing. What's really cool about this is that it can expand. So right now I have it in expansion mode, and you have a little zipper here on the bottom. And if you don't need all of that, then it just becomes a little tiny pouch and it zips up here on the bottom. So a really versatile way to carry. You have a little handle here. It gives you a little bit of structure with this triangle formation if you have it in like the fully expanded mode. and a nice way to keep all of your stuff organized. And we're saving the best for last. We're talking about packing cubes and packing organization. I think if you're a frequent traveler, this is one area where organization, how fast you can get into things, is going to be a really helpful benefit, especially if you're traveling long term. When you're on the road, there's a lot of really new experiences happening all the time, and sometimes it can get a little overwhelming. And I find that having packing organizers or pouches, things like that, is a really helpful way for me to feel grounded, that I kind of have a little bit of control over my life when a lot of things around me are super new. So that's kind of why I advocate for pouches and for packing cubes. It's just to get you a little bit more organized so you have that peace of mind knowing where everything's at so that you can go ahead and like enjoy your adventure. So the first thing that I want to talk about is this really big sack. It's from REI. It's a packable laundry bag. I think if you're going to be doing anything long term, like more than 2 weeks that you're going to be someplace, or if you're traveling with somebody else, like your partner or something, this is a really good option to look into. It's really nice to have somewhere to just kind of throw all your laundry that's not inside of your bag, like rummaging around with all your clean stuff. There's air holes here on the side, which is really awesome. I've been able to fit quite a lot of stuff in here, maybe 2.5 weeks worth of laundry inside of this bag. One really awesome thing about this too is that I've also used it to go grocery shopping. I've used it as a day bag because it's got straps here. So when you're traveling, it's really awesome to be able to multi-purpose your items, because then that way you're like not having to pack as much. So having a packable bag, but also have it be a laundry bag and kind of a day bag, is a really awesome design, and it's not super expensive. It doesn't take up too much room in your suitcase. All right, and the creme de la creme, we're talking about packing cubes. There are a lot of packing cubes out on the market. I'm just gonna go over them really, really quickly for you. So I think that if you're kind of hesitant about this idea, you don't really wanna break the bank, you just kind of wanna see what's out there, I think that this Epica kit is gonna be a really good option for you, because it's gonna give you all of the different sizes that you could possibly want or need. You can use them regularly, like fully expanded, or you can use them as compression cubes with this middle zipper here. And when you zip it up, that's kind of what they end up looking like. All of these Epica packing cubes are gonna have this air mesh here on the front of the bag, but you can really segment your clothes in a lot of different ways. You know, maybe you have just your underwear in this one, you have just your socks in this one, and then you can kind of use them inside of drawers when you get to your hotel room and have a little bit more segmentation. And these are honestly a really good value for the amount of money that you're paying for them. Once you get it to higher tiered levels, like for example, we have these Eagle Creek packing cubes, and as you can see the difference here, this is the Eagle Creek cube. Same design, but like look at how much less space this is taking up on the interior of the cube versus this Epica one. Like the material here is a lot thicker, it's a lot heavier, and those aren't necessarily downsides. It's just something to be aware of. That's kind of what you're gonna get with the price point. REI also makes some pretty decent packing cubes. It's gonna be made of that ripstop fabric that we saw on the Eagle Creek packing cube, but the compression feature is a little bit different. So as you can see here, we have our opening zipper, and then the compression feature is at the bottom of the cube. So slightly different in its approach. We have two packing cubes from Evergoods. These are the Transit Packing Cube 10 liter and 8 liter. They're fairly new products in the lineup, and they have two very distinct ways of operating and opening. So on the 8 liter cube, you have two separated, same dimension and volume panels that kind of come together and close like this. This kind of reminds me of the Cap 1 in that it kind of expands outward with its volume, and so that's kind of how this packing cube operates. I think this is a really good size for if you're a really minimalist packer and you're literally bringing 2 shirts, 2 underwears, and 3 socks. You could probably fit all of that inside of this packing cube. What I have here is just a socks and underwear drawer set. This is the 10 liter version. It has a drawstring enclosure. I would consider this more of a packing cube and not a compression cube. You can fit quite a lot of stuff in here. I have 3 pants and like 5 shirts inside of this. So really between the two of these packing cubes, I'm fully packed for like a 2-week trip. But how I would imagine you use these is that you basically use them as drawers when you get to your destination. There's a lot of visibility on pretty much everything that you have in here. This is kind of an open bucket style version of a packing cube. And as you've seen in the past, the packing cubes that we've already looked at, they're a lot more flat in their design. So they're more interested in the compression aspect of the packing cube. And I think this is more concerned with the actual, like when you're trying to get stuff in and out of your packing cube and how is that interaction gonna feel. That's kind of what this is more focused on. And I would say in general, as far as the actual time ratio, like the amount of time that you're spending in transit versus when it's unpacked and kind of in this state when you're living out of it, Your living out of state is going to take up so much more of your travel time ratio-wise. So I don't think this is a bad way to think about that design problem, but definitely a different approach than what we've already seen in the past. Our last packing cube to talk about is the Peak Design Packing Cube. This is actually the same close that was in the Evergoods 10 liter. So as far as how does it fit and all that kind of stuff, this is how it fits. But as far as feature set for packing cubes, you're looking for lightweightness. How easy is it to get access to your stuff? How compressed does your stuff get? What other additional features, if any, are there? The Peak Design Packing Cubes kind of hit all of those marks and do a very decent job at all of those categories. So I think that's kind of why people have regarded this as one of the best packing cubes on the market. Now, they are not cheap. They're probably the most expensive packing cubes here besides maybe the Evergoods ones. So it's an investment and something that, you might not want to pull the trigger on, especially if you're like new to this and you're kind of like, I don't know if I'm going to get that much value out of it. And that's totally fair. Try the Epica ones or something similar in that vein and see how you like it. But I think that if you're just like, I want the end game, I want to stop looking, the Peak Design Packing Cubes, like, they are the best for a reason, and there's a reason why everyone loves them. It's kind of a buy it once, never have to buy it again situation. We've definitely talked about these packing cubes in the past, and they are still the champions of the category. So Peak Design Packing Cubes. So the last thing that we wanted to touch on, and something that's getting a lot more interest, I think, from a lot of people, are compression bags. So these are a more modern take on those zippered plastic bags that you've seen in the past where you roll them and kind of squeeze all the air out. It's the exact same concept here, except it has a little bit more of a robust, like RF welded construction. In the past, at least when I've used those packing bags, the plastic ones, like, they have broken on me or they rip really easily. When you have something like this that has a little bit more structure to it, it definitely is going to stand up to the test of time a little bit better. These also have a one-way valve in it, so you can roll it like you would normally, or you can use a little vacuum to suck all the air out. This would be a really good option if you're going somewhere that is very cold and you have to bring a lot of additional layers. Something like a compression cube might help save you a ton of space. The only thing to mention about these is that it takes a lot more effort to pack and unpack, just because there's like an air component thing, so you actually have to work a little bit to get this feature to work. It's also not going to be a good option if you have to pack and unpack constantly. So if you're kind of going on a trip and you're going to hit like 5 different destinations, I would not recommend doing a compression cube. The functionality to convenience ratio is just not really there. But if you're kind of staying in one place and you really only need to do it 2 times, once when you get there and once when you leave, totally a game changer. You also have to remember that if you're using this with the carry-on, you can overpack because you're squishing out so much air volume. So just keep that in mind if you're using a compression cube for travel. All right, well, you made it to the end. That was our gift guide for your frequent traveler friend, or maybe, you're buying some stuff for yourself. We will update all the links in the video description and in the pinned comment with all the Black Friday deals as they happen. Special thanks to all the brands who sent us products to share with you guys today so that we can keep making content like this. There are affiliate links to everything that we talked about today. I get a small commission at no cost to you, but if that's not your vibe, make sure you subscribe and hit that notification bell, because you don't want to miss the next 4 days of Christmas that is literally starting tomorrow. My name is Emerald from Emerald's Daily Carry. Thank you guys so much for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.